Hi, I'm Kate Krieger-Watkins here with an edition of the Oriole News brought to you by the Ludington Area School District in partnership with Mason County Press. And today I'm joined with Ludington High School Principal Dan Mesyar. How are you, Dan?
I'm doing well. Thanks, Kate.
Yeah, so we're doing things Zoom because of COVID. Again, COVID that seems like it's never going to go away. So I wanted to touch base with you today because you kind of have your hands in all the schools pots, I guess you want to say, about what's going on. And we really kind of wanted to communicate to parents and just community members about how the distance learning has been going, what actually is happening. So why don't you give us kind of a little bit of background on from when we went to distance learning and kind of what that looks like for all the schools?
Yeah, that transition to online learning, it's something that we're familiar with. We went through it last spring throughout the entire country. And so we learned a lot from that. We found out what worked, what didn't work. And to be honest, it's still a work in progress, I think, for schools all across the country. And it's no different here. Is our system perfect? No. But are we doing a good job of doing the best we can to educate our students? There's no doubt about that. And I think there's a lot of kudos that need to go out to our staff, really pre-K through the high school, of students and staff members, whether it's a Google Meet, whether it's screencasts, whether it's teaching and tutorials, Google Slides, instruction in writing, you name all those things. And really at every level, it's a little different. And Canvas is our learning management tool that we're trying to utilize K-12, which is really wonderful because it does really slide right into West Shore Community College and a lot of colleges across the country. So our learning management system, Canvas, is really something we're trying to utilize across the district right now online.
And I know Canvas, the first couple of days when everybody transitioned into distance learning, there are some bugs that you needed to work out because we hadn't done this before. I mean, it's kind of, again, that whole like building the plane as we're flying it kind of thing. So why don't you talk a little bit about what that looks like and how people, if they do have issues with like their iPads at home, how they can get help with that too?
Yeah, there's a lot of things going on at once. And as a parent myself of two in high school, I'm no different. Sometimes technology, it gets the best of us. And we realize that even during exams last week, we had issues with Canvas on an exam day. And you talk about stressing out parents, students, teachers, administrators. We realized that there was a bug with Canvas when students were taking their exam and they couldn't see the photos on there that they needed to be able to see to finish a problem. And so we did what we should do, which is move that exam to the following week. So this Monday, we held our last exam on that day. We opened the window back up. It's kind of a common sense approach to education. I think sometimes you want to be rigid and you want to hold your line, but now's not the time to do that. You have to find balance, and we're doing the best we can to find balance with compassion and understanding, but also rigor in finding that middle ground where we're still holding students accountable, but we've got to find the balance to meet the needs of families and students.
Sure. Now, the lower elementaries, they're doing most of their stuff just at their own pace every day kind of thing. But can you talk to us a little bit about more like what the high school is doing as far as, because it was a hybrid when they were in person, they could choose to, if they needed help with math, they could come in for 1 hour and take math and then do everything at home. They were still going out to, ASM Tech or CTC and that kind of stuff out at West Shore. Has that stuff stopped? I mean, are they all virtual? And also, not to totally ask you a million questions in one question, talk a little bit about what the staff at the high school was doing when they were in person, because I don't think people really realized how much they had on their plates when they were in school and then had to go home and had another piece at home.
Yeah, if you think about online, the high school staff, the first trimester, they were doing double duty. They were teaching, 20 students in person and then going home and also teaching another, sometimes up to 10 or 15 students in that hour at home. So there were recordings going on, there were videos going on, they were zooming into the class, they were doing group stuff, even though they were online students and in person working together. It was a lot of work. And really, we haven't seen another school district be able to pull that off. And that's just a huge thanks to our teaching staff. the LEA, our association, for working together to try to do what's right for kids. And that's really what's going to happen again this trimester is 95% of our core classes are being offered online as well as in person. So if we get back to in person, students also had the chance to take it online with their classmates taking it in person at the same time. So it's a lot of work. And it's not off, it's really, I haven't found another school that's doing it that way. But the dedicated teaching staff, they've been willing to step up and do that. And it's proven to be successful. And we found out that there are some wrinkles with that, but I think teachers have really learned a lot with Canvas and the different things that are they're capable of doing with Canvas. And students, don't doubt students with technology. That's the one thing I've learned. If there's an issue, a lot of times the students have been able to figure it out with Canvas and work through our tech department. And our tech department has been wonderful. We're finding issues like any other school across the country, and they're on it. Our biggest thing has been really getting that information out to parents quickly. I think that's been our best thing the last week or two, is if there's an issue, we have to let parents know now, because students really get frustrated quickly when things aren't working the right way.
Sure. And I think, you nailed it on the head there. The kids tend to know more about technology than anybody else. So especially the little ones, you can send it to kindergarten, they'll figure it out before anybody else does. So the college, like the dual enrollment kids, what is that looking like right now for just West Shore classes and the other options out there?
So West Shore, they're all online right now. So all West Shore courses, they're finishing up all online. And that seems to be working out really well, whether it's a Zoom meeting once a week, and then they have homework they have to turn in with different modules. So our students are familiar with that, because it's, again, Canvas is the learning management system. So it's really a nice, it's really an easy transition for our students, our juniors and seniors. The Career Tech Center then right now is not open. And so they do have some projects and things that they're working on at home. Again, it's a little bit different if you're thinking about culinary arts, construction trades, mechatronics. You think about the principal director out there right now, he's doing a great job providing meaningful experiences right now. And they realize it's a transition. It's not meant to be full-time online, and we know that.
Okay. Well, I wondered about that, because I knew that when we went distance learning, they were still going out there for a little while, but then that all transitioned too. So yeah, it's been kind of crazy. So how many of because the new trimester just started this week, correct?
Correct. Just started today.
How many? Okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. How many kids returned back to, I guess, what you would call in-person learning, even though you're still distance? What do those stats look like now?
We had roughly 200 students that were online, all online. Actually, yeah, all online first trimester. We have about 80 or 90 coming back in person. And then we have a hybrid section. We have about 40 students who are hybrid, that they might come for 1 or 2 hours a day, and then they do the rest online. So having that third option has been really nice for families, knowing that, hey, my child really struggles with math. They can stay home with their brother and sister in the morning to help them out, and then they can come in for math class in the afternoon. Having that flexibility has been wonderful for families, and we've gotten great feedback for those who have gone the hybrid route.
Okay. And what do you think the reason for that many kids coming back in person, just kind of that structural? I mean, I think it helps anybody, no matter how old you are, to be on a kind of a scheduled structure. But I didn't know if you got any feedback from parents of like kind of why they're saying like, I think it's better for you to go back to school.
Yeah, I think everyone realizes that you can't replace in-person learning. You just can't replace it. And I mean, we've all taken college classes online, and it's not to diminish the work that a teacher or professor does, but we know that the statistics show that in-person learning, it works, and it works well. And we've got the data to prove it here of how our students have done, the past 30 years. So I think parents realize sometimes that structure at home, not having that structure, it does hamper the ability to bring out what's best in students. And we've kind of seen that along the way. So a lot of parents have kind of touched base with us and said, geez, I'd really like my son or daughter to come back and get back in that rhythm, get back into that mode, because you really can't replace, you know, a teacher in front of you every day, 70 minutes a day. We know that that structure works for nearly everyone. And if it doesn't work for you, we have our Oriole Academy, which has still been working out well, even though that's online. So we think that's the reason why as parents have seen that it just hasn't worked for many online, that structure. It's really difficult. It's difficult for adults and it's difficult for students. You imagine, you know, 6-7-year-olds all the way up to 17-year-olds. It's difficult.
So looking at the model, are there any classes that the kids are actually like right in time with teachers that are teaching to them exactly at that moment every day for like 60 or 70 minutes?
We have, and we've sent out a video on November 3rd about what to expect with online learning as we transition. It's about a 7.5-minute video. It's on our Facebook page and it's also on our website. And that really outlines what it's like. Teachers may have synchronous time up to 2 times a week for 30 to 40 minutes. So it's not every day because it doesn't work for families every day to be on at that time. And I use that example of both parents are working in the morning. They have several children at home, you know, big brother, big sisters helping at home. And so we're trying to create flexibility for families, but also accountability for students. And you can see that's a balancing act that our staff's trying to find that balance. But 2 times a week, it is happening, but it's not all day, every day. And we're trying to give teachers to be the professionals to make those judgments. And like I said, it could be a variety of things, a Google Meet, screencasts, video of themselves teaching a lesson. You know, it's a variety of things that they're using to help connect students to the lesson.
I think it's helpful that you guys are so flexible in that too, because I know some schools, it's like you're going to school, you wake up, you just turn on the computer and then you sit there for hours and hours on end going through your classes and that kind of thing. And it's just, like you said, it doesn't work for families. I mean, so many of the parents are working and this has been such a hard transition, even though the parents understand why, but for daycare and like you said, having siblings with younger siblings at home and mom and dad are both at work or it's a single parent situation. So it's not easy for anybody, but you guys seem to be kind of working out the kinks the best that we can. So is there anything else that's happening? I know we're in that last week where we're supposed to hear probably at the end of this week about what's happening next. The holidays are coming. How do you feel about that? What's the plan for the high school in the next half a year, I guess?
No, we're prepared. We're prepared online with Canvas. We're ready to go. We're making tweaks. I think we're meeting to try to make some tweaks to it if we're going to continue to be fully online, and we're going to know this week. We'll send out a video at the end of the week once we know to parents, and we just urge parents to get onto our Facebook page, to get onto our website, their weekly updates, and those are important updates where we try to spell everything out. And just thanks for the patience. I think that's probably the key is, you know, everybody's kind of on edge right now and wants answers, and we're doing the best we can with the resources we have. And we put a lot of time into it this summer to work out Canvas. And like I said, we appreciate the feedback from families. We think that's important too, to hear what's working, what's not working. And we're going to continue to do our best and make changes accordingly to make sure that students can be successful. And we realize it's not perfect, but we're going to change and adapt as we go and continue to keep that flexibility for families. We think that's the most important thing right now is understanding we're in a pandemic, a lot's going on, and we're trying to strike the right balance.
Right. And it is kind of comforting, even though it's not, to know though that everybody's doing in this together. You know, that's kind of been the thing said over and over, that we're all in this together. But it makes you feel a little more comfortable to know that, you know what, it's not just the high school. It's not just Ludington. It's not just Scottville. It's not just, you know, Custer or whatever. We're all doing this the best that we can. So I want to thank you for joining me today and kind of giving us an update on where you guys stand and what you're doing. So I'm sure everybody's anxiously awaiting the end of the week to hear from Jason Kennedy, the superintendent, of what's going to happen, but continue doing what you guys are doing. We really appreciate it. And thanks again for joining me today.
You bet. Thanks for having me. Take care.